Hello everyone and welcome to another Top 5 Records video. Today I'm going to be talking about the 5 best solo albums by John Lennon. A couple of weeks ago I did one on Paul McCartney, and now I'm diving into the world of John Lennon, who has always been my favorite Beatle. Now I'm gonna immediately kick it off, and I'm gonna kick off number 5 with actually what I'm gonna leave off of this list, because what I'm holding here is Double Fantasy, and I know a lot of John Lennon fans would put this at number 5 instead of what I'm gonna put on number 5. And I understand this album has a song, one of his most beautiful songs, Beautiful Boy. It's a lovely, intimate song, a song for his son. Now, why am I leaving this record, which was released, I believe, a month before he was murdered? Why am I leaving it off the list? Well, because this also has some Yoko Ono songs, which I just cannot get into. I mean, Yoko Ono is an important figure in the art scene. A very important figure. She was an important influence on John Lennon. Recently she got the co-writing credits for Imagine, and I do not think that his solo career would have been the same without Yoko Ono. Also in a very positive way. I think her influence is very positive. But the moment she starts singing, I'm just not so much interested. And that to me is one of the lesser moments of John Lennon's career. I don't think he reaches his overall quality, especially live, when Yoko Ono starts doing her, let's call it, improvisation vocals, or even when she does something like Kiss 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 Me Love. I'm not a fan of Yoko Ono. Sorry about that. So what I'm gonna put in at number 5 is a, in some ways, rather controversial record. And some people would say that I've lost my mind, because Rock and Roll is an album in which John Lennon notoriously was hard to work with. He was drunk, he was shouting, he was shouting and yelling. He was shouting and yelling. And nevertheless, how problematic this release has been, and how problematic he might have been at this point, I believe him here. I believe John Lennon's ode to old rock and roll songs. He's covering his roots. And although the sound and the mixing is overall a bit odd, there are brilliant moments here. And as a whole, it's very enjoyable. He starts off with Be-Bap-A-Lula, which he does a good rendition of. But then, Stand By Me. Stand By Me is kicking great. I mean, one of his best recorded songs, Stand By Me. The flow, his conviction in his vocals, I prefer it above the original. I even prefer it above the original. Then we get a medley, Ain't That a Shame, nice rendition, Peggy Sue, and then he even covers Sam Cooke. Now, Sam Cooke is, in my opinion, one of the best vocalists ever, and Bring It On Home to Me is my favorite Sam Cooke song. And Lennon knows he's not a vocalist like Sam Cooke, so his approach to the song is entirely different. He makes it much more of a rock and roll song, and it lives. It continues. It's good. I really enjoy this album. I think this is a very good rock and roll album. As a matter of fact, when I did an internship on a Dutch horror film set, the sound recordist or the sound mixer on set, he said to me, John Lennon's best album? Rock and roll. Go out and buy it. And it's the number 5 on my list. I really admire it. It's not the best, but this might be a hidden treasure for some. On number 4, this was a hidden treasure for me. I did not even know this album existed until a couple of years ago. Walls and Bridges. It's a good John Lennon album, and it has Steel and Glass on there. Very, very good song. Also very interesting cover design. I'm gonna show it. This is an old picture of an old child's painting or drawing by John Lennon, which I think is very playful and very intimate as well. And then you have this, the back side. You can, it's a playful record. It's a really playful record. Oh. Yeah, I'm easily amused. No, great album, Walls and Bridges. On the number 4 spot, I'm gonna put it on later. On number 4, on number 3, uh, Mind Games. This is good territory for John Lennon, and I really want to find a first UK pressing, because the one I'm holding here, it's a Dutch reissue. It doesn't sound too good, but it doesn't keep me away from enjoying this album. And top of it is the title track. Mind Games is John Lennon on his best songwriting. The lyrics, the flow, the and I love his vocals. I love his conviction here. This is a very good album. Mind Games on the number 3. And we're getting to number 2. This is a gorgeous album. Imagine. This is such an extraordinarily brilliant album. I would put it on the list with best Beatles albums. Sadly, the inner sleeve of my pressing, it's a first UK pressing, but it's a bit torn. Should really buy another inner sleeve, but it has so many great songs. Crippled Inside, Imagine, Jealous Guy, Give Me Some Truth, How Do You Sleep. How Do You Sleep was written for Paul McCartney. I believe it was part of the feud between McCartney and Lennon, which, according to McCartney, later on they got back together again. And that's also the thing with the famous feud, because they've got lyrics referring to each other. I believe it's the record Ram by Paul McCartney, which has two Beatles screwing each other. Fornicating is the right word, I guess. And everybody thinks there was this big fight going on. And I'm wondering, Lennon was, how do you say this? In interviews, he could easily say something nasty, but does it make it a nasty person, or is he just a bit of a rebel? Was it a real big fight, or were they just a little bit annoyed and just pinching and poking each other? So I think it goes down to how furious were they? How furious were they? Now, Imagine, awesome album. And then we're getting to my favorite John Lennon album. Yeah, to me, this is the ultimate masterpiece. Plastic Ono Band. This is the most intimate you'll ever hear John Lennon. Even taking all the Beatles albums in account. What he is doing here is just of the most mesmerizing, incredible quality. I did a video on a comparison in which I compared this first UK pressing to a MoFi pressing and a Dutch pressing with the British stampers. So if you want to know what the pressing is, you can find the video below. This album in its entirety, starting off with Mother. I mean, his lyrics, it's as if he's taking you into his therapy. And therapy always sounds more interesting than it is. Not in the case of Lennon. He really opens up. He is frustrated. He's leaving the Beatles behind. At that particular moment, he's looking back at the fame and why did he want the fame. And he gets to the root of it. And the roots are his parents. I mean, if you take a look at the lyrics of Mother. Mother, you had me, but I never had you. I wanted you, but you didn't want me. So I gotta tell you, goodbye, goodbye. Father, you left me, but I never left you. I needed you, but you didn't need me. So I just gotta tell you, goodbye, goodbye. It sounds simple, the way he's singing it. He's giving it all. He's being so honest. It's almost as if he's not communicating this to the audience, but he's communicating it to himself. And that is just incredible. Then you get to Hold On. Brilliant song. I Found Out. The third song, Working Class Hero. What I say, Isolation. masterpiece of a song. Not a bad song here. Side to Remember. Remember when you were young, how the hero was never hung. Love is real. Well, well, well. Look at me. Masterpiece of a song. And then he ends it off with God. God is a concept by which we measure our pain. I mean, he was one hell of a lyricist here. And then you have this small outro, My Mummy's Dead. I mean, the level of intimacy, the journey that he's going through, and what he's letting us be part of. This is one of the best records from the 70s. I think it's even just one of the best albums ever made. John Lennon, Plastic Ono Band on number 1. So, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.